पठामि संस्कृतं नित्यं वदामि संस्कृतं सदा ध्यायामि संस्कृतं सम्यक् वन्दे संस्कृतमातरम् संस्कृतस्य प्रसाराय नैजं सर्वं ददाम्यहं संस्कृतस्य सदा भक्तो वन्दे संस्कृतमातरम् संस्कृतस्य कृते जीवन् संस्कृतस्य कृते यजन् आत्मानमाहुतं मन्ये वन्दे संस्कृतमातरम् हिन्दुधर्मं समाजं च पवित्रां संस्कृतिं तथा संरक्ष्य ननुकुर्याम विश्वं शान्तिसमन्वितम्.
Namaskaram. Welcome back again for today's session. Last session, we kind of had looked at the concepts and fundamentals of music, how kids gets influenced, how we as adults also have nostalgic feeling on something like a national anthem, which is also tuned. We also saw how our sages could do a mass communication channel as music. They chose music as a mass communication channel. We just stopped at a very critical juncture where we were looking at one of the composers who was trying to say whatever he wanted to do, whatever he wanted to say in terms of music, and which was very popularly known Kriti. Now today, there is a follow-up on the same concept of using music as a mass communication channel. Now, going into a little deeper sense of music, right? We have always spoken about music for materialistic pleasures till now. To retain complex things, music can be used. But there is a spiritual angle to this particular science, if I can call it so. The reason I'm calling it as science is, again, coming to the context which Josna Haru has said last time, music is also related to medicine. Now, when I say our scientists, our composers, our sages were great doctors, this is one just classic example. We'll touch upon a lot of things in today's session, more intricately about certain composers who have added value through music into each one of us, our lives. One of the greatest composers that we have seen on this earth is Tyagaraja. We started with Sobhilu Saptaswara last time. I bring your attention to another facet of Tyagaraja's compositions, which are probably the life that he led. Now, if you ask me, Arun, what according to you is dharma? Put it in a very simple form, just don't complicate. It says live, let live. And that's what the previous composition that we heard to said. So which is typically propagating the dharma, which is all about let live, let live, the concept of Annamacharya. Now, is it only Annamacharya who has said this? Answer is definitely no. Tyagaraja as a composer did very similar to what Annamacharya did. He himself said in a composition, ದುಡುಕುಗಲ ನನ್ನೆ ದೋರ ಕೊಡುಕು ಬ್ರೋತುರ ಆಯಂತೋ ದುಡುಕುಗಲ ನನ್ನೆ ದೋರ ಕೊಡುಕು ಬ್ರೋತುರ ದುಡುಕುಗಲ ನನ್ನು ಏ ದೊರ ಕೊಡುಕು ಬ್ರೋತುರ. He's asking himself if because of my rustiness, my aggression, with that kind of an attitude and temperament, who king? He's referring to Sri Ramachandra because he is a devotee of Sri Ramachandra. He says, who, somebody like a king, why would he look at some mediocrity in me? Now, is it only this much he said? No. He very interestingly has spoken about Kama, Krodha, Lobha, Moha, Mada, Matsaryas, which we are all kind of stuck with in our lives, right? So he very categorically says in this Kriti, in Pancharatna, Manavatanu durlabhamanuchu nenchi paramananda mundaleka మదమత్సర కామలోభమోహులకు దాసుడై మోసపోతిగాక మొదటి కుల జుడగుచు భువిని శూద్రుల పనులు సల్పుచునుంటిని కాక నరాధములను కోరి చారహీన మతములను సాధింపతారు మారుదుడుకు గల నన్నే దోర కొడుకు బ్రోతుర. He's saying, మానవతను దుర్లభమనుచు నెంచి పరమానందమందలేక మదమత్సర కామలోభమరోహులకు దాసుడై మోసబోతిగాక. He's saying, having this Manushya Janma itself is a boon. And just thanking God for giving this particular life itself and doing satkarma is itself enough, but you don't do that. So you are behind. Manavatanu durlabhamanuchu nenchi paramananda mondaleka madamatsara kamalobhamohulaku dasudai mosab. You're getting cheated by, getting into Madamatsara Kamalobha Moha. మొదటి కుల చూడగుచు భువిని శూద్రుల పనులు జల్పుచునుంటినిగాక. You have got a life which you can lead with all satkarmas like a Brahmana, but you are actually doing all dushkarma in your life. Naradhamulanu kori charahina matamulanu. He's saying sarahina matamulanu. The gist of matatattva is not the one which you should be chasing, because it is only one Parabrahma, and you should look at the God as one. So this is what he himself is relating it to, and he is saying very loud and clear to all the audience. Now, don't you think that this composition is relevant till today? Can't we apply the same concepts? Don't you think that the things have been very, very similar to what somebody has written in 1700 BC to what today, 21st century, we are all experiencing? Yes, right? We still are experiencing it. Now, is this the only composition which he said this? There is another angle to this. He said in one of the compositions, Nithicayala. He's introspecting, by the way. Nithicayala sukhama Ramuni sannidhi seva sukhama nichamuga balkumanasa nithicala sukhama He's asking himself, is money, glory good for you? Or are you keen on it? Or do you want to actually get to the lotus feet of Sri Ramachandra? Which is, tell me, oh mind, oh heart. That's what he's saying. Now, this angle of tattva, where introspection is very, very commonly seen in Tyagaraja's composition, where he used to live the life that he kind of put across through his music. Everything that he did was what he said. So if he is actually having a breakfast, he used to actually call Sri Ramachandra. He used to feel as if Sri Rama is right in front of him. He serves Sri Rama first and then has the food. That's how he envisions God. God is with him in his house. Now, coming to a very, very interesting thought process. How many of us go to temple and say thank you? We don't, right? We go to the temple saying, okay, I have this worries, I have that worries, I've not got promotion, I did not have kids, I have not got my job, I did not get an on-site opportunity, so on and so forth. But have you ever thought saying that, going to God and saying thank you? I'm able to breathe, I'm able to see beautiful world, all my senses are absolutely fine. And did you thank God for whatever he has already given you? No, right? So this whole concept of happily accepting what you've already got from the God is very, very clearly seen in all the compositions which our great sages, great composers have given. Is this the only composer that I'm speaking about? Answer is no. Abhimanaminadu kalgurama, Abhimanaminadu kalgurama. In this composition, he very categorically says, Annavastramula kemi povaya niyannadaina ninnadiginana. He's saying, did I ever come to you and ask, how should I live? Or, where my next meal is going to come from? I thought you were the person who is responsible for, giving me all that what I need. And that's what you have done. So that is another composition by Patnam Subramania. So I'm just not saying that only one composer has given this kind of a thought process and message to all of us. Now, don't you think live, let live is what they have done? Think about it. Everybody is saying all positive things, what you should live life. Don't you think this is Sanatana Dharma? This is what Sanatana Dharma means. You would educate people through music on how to live, ways of living, so-called in Western terminology these days. And who else other than our ancient sages, our gurus, better way to communicate through music. Now, with that in perspective, there is another very interesting point which Josna Garu has spoken about last time, which is medicine. There is a composer by name Muthuswami Dikshitar. This guy was a genius. And I'm saying he's genius. He traveled across India, right from Kashmir to Kanyakumari. He tried visiting a lot of places, understood different cultures, understood what are the situations or cultural differences between one part of the country to the other part of the country. Just not that, he was a great astrologer. He has written compositions on the Navagrahas, which are Navagraha Kritis, on each of the planets. He's also written compositions on Shakti, Amma. We all speak very um, uh, prevalently on Sri Chakra and Kundalini Yoga and so on and so forth, right? So these are extremely difficult concepts to understand and practice. Through his compositions, if we practice them really well, we can experience these Shaktis in ourselves. And he has demonstrated that through his compositions called Navavarnams. And this is just one facet that I am speaking about this genius called Muthuswami Dikshitar. Now, there is a small story associated with the medical or medicine, how he has used a composition to cure somebody's stomachache. It is said that one of the travelers was passing by Muthuswami Dikshitar's house, and he was actually practicing, and he just sat down to take some rest on the compound of Sri Muthuswami Dikshitar's house. And on a courtesy, Muthuswami Dikshitar went to him and asked what he is and why he is in this place. And he then explains that he had a severe stomachache and no doctor could cure it. So he invited him into his house, and he kind of composed one of the Nava Graha Kritis called Surya Murte, Raga Saurashtra, and taught him for a 40-day period. Apparently, it is said that after 40 days, the guy who came to his place got rid of his stomachache. Now, this is a story. Again, 21st century, you would ask for a proof, isn't it? Yeah, we are all scientific. We want to know how it, unless we experience it, we don't believe, right? Okay. Now, how many of you have taken Anacin or a headache medicine? We all do, right? Whenever kids scream at us, we go ahead and have Anacin. Or when boss screams at us, you go ahead and have Anacin, correct? Now, there is a raga which we have already heard from Jyotsna Dodi, which typically can help you get rid of the anxiety. So your headache is here, right? So you are more anxiety, more headache. So simple example of this Todi raga, again referring to one of the compositions of Tyagaraja. Yandu kudayara Sri Ramachandra Nikendu kudayara Sri Ramachandra Nikendu kudayara Look at this Gandhara. Gaza, Risa. That Rishabham and Gandhara is going to help you get anxiety out of your head. This you can experience it when you listen to a Todi Raga. Next time when you have a headache, you go ahead and listen to this particular composition or a raga. I'm sure you will experience it yourself. Now, this is just a medical angle to it, concept, which I would want to touch in the next session, which speaks about the mass communication again in the era where there was no internet, there was no phones, there is no photography. How would somebody cascade the energy of one place to the other? Don't you think it is a very interesting concept, and how our sages, our composers have done this exercise? So we have kind of seen what Dikshitar compositions could do medically to us, and what todi typically can um, bring about a value in solving our materialistic problems. Now, think about in the era of no internet, no calls, no phone calls, um, no photography, no videos. How would somebody in a gist of a story tell about a place? Doesn't it sound very fascinating? Your temples per se are energy centers. Now, there are a lot of people in the olden era, right? So in the yesteryears, people could not commute because for a very obvious reason. So whoever has visited the particular temples, how could they carry forward that energy in the temples to a common audience or somebody who needs it? Is it relatable? Okay, let me quote one more concepts of science, which probably you'd be able to relate to. Energy can neither be created nor destroyed, can be transferred from one form to the other form. We have all learned this theory from Newton. Now, if I say that this energy transfer could happen through music, when somebody has tried visiting that particular place, understood what is the science behind it, encapsulated all that into a form of a song and given it to us for experiencing that energy. Okay, too much of theory. I understand. Again, 21st century. Let me bring to your attention about one of the compositions of, again, Tyagaraja. Again, for a very obvious reason, Tyagaraja, because he has composed some of the Kshetra Kritis. When I'm saying Kshetra Kritis, he also traveled extensively in the southern part of India. So he went to some place called Sri Rangam. Now, when he went there, there was a procession that was happening where we call, you take the deity out in the streets of that particular place and help all the other people to visualize and pray to the god. Now, there is a humongous amount of energy in that particular procession, right? People will be chanting, people will be, running here and there. How would you go ahead and cascade that energy back? He has composed one very pictorial representation, if I may call it so, through a kriti called Raju Vedale. It goes something like this. Raju Vedale Chuta Murare Raju Vedale Chuta Murare Kasturi Ranga 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 Raju Vedale Chuta Murare Tejine ki samalte Rajuludiga museya Tejarillu नवरत्नपु दिव्यभूषणमुलीडे राजुवेडले चूतमुरारे कस्तूरी रंगराजुवेडले चूतमुरारे कावेरी तीरमुननु पावनमगु रंगपुरिनी श्रीवलयु चित्रवीथिलो वेट्कनुराग సేవలు కని సురులు వీరులచే ప్రేమ పూజించగా భావించు త్యాగరాజు పాడగా వైభోగ రంగరాజు వెడలి చూతాము రారే కస్తూరి రంగ రాజు వెడలి చూతాము రారే. Now, this composition starts with Raju Vedale. There is a procession that is happening. Raju is king. King of Srirangapatna is Vishnu, Rangaraja. So his procession is happening. So Tyagaraja is saying, "Oh, come, let's go ahead and see what is there. Come fast." Now Raju Vedale Chutamura. Oh man, come! Why are you waiting for this? That is the build-up that he's giving in the first stanza, or so-called Pallavi. Now in Anupallavi he says, Tejineki Samanta Rajuludigamuseya. He's sitting very royally on a pallaki, and great kings were actually carrying that particular pallaki. And he's saying, Udigamucheya. They are actually working like a servants. The great kings themselves are serving like a servants to this procession, where he is seeing this particular thing happen. Then he describes the place in which this is happening. Kaveri Tiramunanu Pavanamagurangapurini. It is right next to Kaveri river, the procession that is happening. And where is the destination? Shri Velayu Chitravidhilo Vetkanukaga. He's saying the procession is actually happening in Chitravidhi, where Shri stays. There is a Lakshmi's temple there, and the procession is actually heading towards Lakshmi's temple. Now, look at this whole composition. How well somebody could describe an event that is happening and let us know how people are feeling there. Sevalu kani surulu virulache prema pujaga pavinchu tyagaraju pada. He is actually singing in the glory of Sri Rangaraja, where everybody is, circling around this whole procession. How beautifully described. This is a live event that happened during the procession in Sri Rangapuram. Now, this is one of the instances. Now, I was quoting one of the composer called Muthuswami Dikshita. There is a temple again in India called Tirupati. Extremely powerful temple. When I'm saying powerful in terms of the cosmic energy that it carries. Now, he is actually describing the deity there. Not many people who have gone to this particular temple will realize that you will not be allowed to go ahead and stand in front of this for a very long time to feel the cosmic energy radiations, right? So he is actually describing the deity feature by feature. It goes something like this. शेषाचलनायकं भजामि विशेषफलप्रदायकं शेषाचलनायकं भजामि. शेषाचलनायकं भजामि. I'm actually worshipping Seshachalanayakam, who is Sri Perumal Venkateshwara. Anupallavi goes like this. Bhasharamana prabhritya seshamananuta kaustubha bhushalankrita bahutara veshatmaka vigraham Seshachalanayakam bhajami. He's actually saying Charana. Mandahasavadanam, very smiling face. Mandahasavadanam, swachanda hridaya sadanam, sundarajitamadanam, mukundam madhusudanam. Smiling, stunning face that he has got. Swachanda hridaya sadanam. Once you look at him, you get happiness by just looking at that particular deity. Aravinda patranayanam, lotus-like eyes. Aravinda patranayanam, govindam uragashayanam. Uraga is snake. Uragashayana is one who is sleeping on the snake, right? Govindam uragashayanam, surabranda satkritaadhyayanam, nandanarayanam, purandaradi dikpalasanandanadi munivaradi vanditamabhinava guru guhananditamananta kirtim seshachalanayakam bhajami. I myself am getting goosebumps. Now this is an energy transfer, isn't it? So how many times we have seen when somebody presents a song or somebody does, you have a biological reaction which you can feel is goosebumps. Now this is a very classic example of radiating the cosmic energy that is residing in a place called Tirupati, and if somebody does this really well, they can experience this rays through our goosebumps. So again, something which is Newton's law, energy can be transferred from one form to the other, which is cosmic, into sound today. Now, our ancestors have always said sound is the first form of energy. Do you have a proof? Yes. When we speak about sound, we relate that to nadam. When we say nadam, it is we associate one form of God called Shiva, and there is a kriti which speaks about nadopasana, and nada is an embodiment, or Shiva is an embodiment of nada. Nada tanumanisham shankaram namami me manasa sirasa. Nada tanumanisham modakara nigamotama sama vedasaram varam varam. We started this whole sessions with saying Music has originated from Samaveda. This is another instance where Tyagaraja is saying, Samaveda Saram Varam Varam Nada Tanumanisham Shankaram. Sadyojatadi Panchavakraja Sarigama Padani Varasapta Swara. We said there are 7 notes. Classic example already spoken in this kriti. Sari gama padani vara sapta swara vidyalolam vidalita kalam vimala hridaya tyagarajapalam nada tanumani sham. So Saptaswara Vidyalolam is Vidyalola is wanting to learn. What wanting to learn? Sarigama Padani, which is Saptaswara. So people who are aspiring to learn music, this particular composition, he himself, Tyagaraja, is saying, I would want to learn music to attain salvation. Now, when I'm saying salvation, again, very abstract concept. Right. I would want to end today's session by just throwing light on one of the very famous compositions by Talapaka Annamacharya, Kancharla Gopanna, who says, whatever we kind of live, we think that we are living is all drama. The end result is always Kaivalya, which is moksha, salvation. Now, he puts across in this particular composition very categorically what he feels and what you should be looking at, why he feels so. Nanati bratuku natakam kanaka kannadi కైవల్యము నానాటి బ్రతుకు నాటకము నాటకము పుట్టుటయు నిజము పోవుటయు నిజము పుట్టుటయు నిజము పోవుటయు నిజము నటనడి నీ పని నాటకము ఎటనెదుటగలది ప్రపంచము కటకటపటిది కైవల్యము నానాటి బ్రతుకు నాటకము saying నానాటి బ్రతుకు నాటకము కానక కన్నది కైవల్యము. Whatever you are trying to live is drama. The only two realities in this life is birth and death. In between these two great events that you have is everything drama again. Puttutayu nijam, which is truth. Povutayu nijamu, death is also a truth. Natanadi ni pani natakamu. So whatever you are doing in between is all drama. Now with that in perspective, I leave today's session for all of you to dwell around the concept of live, let live as a concept of Sanatana Dharma, and look at the ultimate to lead our life with the Dharma and attain Kaivalya, Moksha. That has to be our end goal, and which everybody in our sages, our gurus, our ancestors have always been speaking about. And the easiest way to do that, they say, is through music. With that in perspective, thank you so very much for providing this opportunity. Hope I have made somebody realize how music can help us live the life through dharma. Thank you so much.
ॐ सर्वे भवन्तु सुखिनः, सर्वे सन्तु निरामयाः, सर्वे भद्राणि पश्यन्तु, मा कश्चित् दुःखभाग् भवेत्। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः।